Today, we're heading to one of America's most famous faces. Literally. This is Mount Rushmore, the giant cliff carved into four enormous presidents. But how did this bizarre, brilliant idea even happen? Let's dive in. Mount Rushmore sits in the Black Hills of South Dakota, a region sacred to the Lakota Sioux. Before a single face was carved, the mountain was just a giant granite cliff called Thunkashila Shakpe, meaning six grandfathers. In the 1920s, one man had a wild thought. What if we carved giant statues into the mountain to bring tourists? His name was Doane Robinson, and honestly, props for creativity. Robinson hired sculptor Gutzon Borglum, a man known for thinking big. He looked at the mountain and said, "Let's put four presidents up there, and let's make them huge." Construction began in 1927 and took 14 years. Not because it was slow, but because carving a mountain with dynamite is a pretty big task. Yes, almost the entire monument was shaped using dynamite. Workers blasted away rock with shocking precision, removing about 450,000 tons of stone. The rest was carved using a tool called a jackhammer and something named honeycombing, which sounds sweet but is basically drilling a bunch of tiny holes into granite. Imagine going to work every day, hanging off a 500-foot cliff, trying not to drop your hammer on George Washington's nose. The workers had no hard hats, no modern safety gear, nothing but ropes, drills, and nerves of steel. Yet remarkably, not a single worker died during the project. A miracle considering the explosions alone. Gutzon Borglum picked each one for a specific reason. George Washington, the nation's founding. Thomas Jefferson, on expansion, Louisiana Purchase. Theodore Roosevelt, development and conservation. Abraham Lincoln, unity and leadership during the Civil War. They weren't chosen based on politics or popularity, but on how they shaped America's identity. Originally, the plan was to carve the presidents from the waist up. Full bodies, not just heads. But the rock quality near the base was too weak, and the project ran out of money. So Borglum said, "All right, heads it is." Behind Lincoln's head, there's a hidden room called the Hall of Records. Borglum wanted it to be a grand vault holding America's greatest documents, like the Constitution and Declaration of Independence. Budget cuts killed the idea. Today, the chamber is sealed but still contains a small set of records explaining the monument's purpose. Mount Rushmore isn't just stone faces. The surrounding Black Hills are full of wildlife. Mountain goats, bald eagles, bison, deer, and the occasional chipmunk who photobombs tourists. It's basically a giant outdoor museum with bonus animals. Fun facts. The noses are about 20 feet long. If the whole sculpture were a person, it would stand 465 feet tall. Thomas Jefferson was originally carved on Washington's right, but the rock cracked, so they blasted it off and restarted on the left. Each eye is about 11 feet wide. The monument cost less than $1 million at the time, around $17 million today. Mount Rushmore sits in the same rugged Black Hills region that inspired the hit TV series Deadwood. The wild, lawless mining town where real historical figures like Wild Bill Hickok and Calamity Jane once lived. Now the show wasn't actually filmed here, but the mountains, forests, and granite cliffs around Rushmore are the real backdrop of the legends the series brought to life. These hills were once packed with gold miners, gamblers, saloons, and outlaws long before the first blast of dynamite carved Washington's face into the mountain. Whether you see it as art, history, engineering, or something deeper, Mount Rushmore is a symbol of ambition, a reminder that humans can carve their ideas into the world. Literally, it mixes innovation, controversy, artistry, and raw granite into something unforgettable. From sacred mountain, to explosive construction site, to world-famous landmark, Mount Rushmore is a place with stories carved into every inch, and that's your quick landmarks deep dive into Mount Rushmore. If you enjoyed this journey, hit like, subscribe, and let me know which landmark we should explore next. Thanks for watching. See you at the next landmark adventure.